You know, it's funny, I never know when it starts. It just starts at some point. Hello and welcome to the new month. Hello, September. And welcome to Aloha 24, September, the new challenge of the new month. Hello. Hi, Alina. Hi, Sylvie. Hi, Tracy. All right, you guys, let me show you what we're going to do today. So the challenge theme of this month is nightscapes. So we're going to stay with the landscape theme that we started last month. And this month, we're just going to paint it a bit more dark. So for today, we're going to just do a quick and easy practice. We're going to look at some color studies, and we're going to combine watercolors with neocolors. Or if you don't have neocolors, you can just use any kind of crayon, pastel, colored pencils even, it all works. All right, so how's everybody doing today? I'm gonna turn around the camera, and you might notice that this is not the usual background because I'm actually not home. Hi, Steph. Hello, Dorit. All right. So let me just turn around. Here we go. Okay, you know the drill. I'm gonna plug my phone into my phone holder. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so as I just mentioned, I'm actually not home. I am on a little weekend getaway with my friend Michelle. We drove over to the other side of the island, and we're staying in a wonderful Airbnb that I dearly love. I've stayed here a lot of times, probably, I don't know, 10 times or so. So, yay, tea, thank you.
You're welcome.
I got some tea. So how about you guys? When you go stay someplace, do you like to go back to where you previously stayed, or do you like to go and check out new places? How is it with you, Michelle? Like stay same place or go new place?
I like to go new places.
Ah, see, I like to go stay at the same place. I mean, it's both. I guess I kind of like experiencing new places, but I love to stay in like Airbnbs that I already know.
Well, that's a good point. I say maybe if I visit the same city, I'll stay in the same place.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I know that bed is comfy. I know that those hosts are lovely. I mean, here, you know, I arrived, the hosts greet me, bring me some, you know, something to drink, brought me 2 pineapples. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, I'm sorry about the lighting, you guys. I have a little bit of a tricky situation here. We changed the setup like 5 times because I had to like move the phone holder, move the table. I needed an outlet, electricity outlet, etc. So I apologize for the lighting.
The table is also small.
Yeah, it's very small. Ooh, you know what I forgot? I can't see the chat because, yeah, just make sure that the volume is all the way down, otherwise we'll have a terrible echo. Hold on. Maybe you can just use your phone. You know, we just have to open YouTube. Apologies, you guys. It's just, I did not think of that. Okay, so that I can see the chat. Let me just move over to volume down. Thank you. Okay. You see anything in the chat yet? Okay, let me start with the paper. So as you can see, this is the Conson XL watercolor paper, and it has way more texture than my Royal Talens, where everything just turned out a bit smoother. So for you guys today, it really depends whether you like your result to be more smooth or maybe with a bit more texture. So this is the, oh, thank you. Yay, great. This is the Conson
cold press with a bit more tooth. And then this here is the Art Creations Royal Talens sketchbook. So the method is super simple. I laid down a wash of watercolor first, and then I went over it with Neocolors, and I added the stars and the moon, mainly the stars, with some white gouache. I just hesitated with the moon because I actually just did negative space painting technique to create the moon. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna put this to the side over here. I also wanted to note, if you're using quite thin paper today, you can also just go ahead and use brush pens for your first layer. This is actually what I did here. Okay. Did it not work with the chat on your phone, Mishi?
It's too small. I'm getting that laptop.
All right. Okay, you guys, let's get started. So I really want to just use colors today that I feel like using. So please don't feel obliged to use the same colors. I am using the colors from my new watercolor set, Mille Manu, plus this one here, which is Shell Ginger. But again, just try and kind of like feel out what colors you want to use today. You can use bright colors, you can use more muted colors. So just go ahead with the flow. And I'm gonna use quite bright colors today, which might not be the first thing that you think of when you think of nightscapes. And I'm also gonna try and use analogous colors today, which means, for example, I'm starting with this yellow background, and then I'm gonna use something like orange or red on top of it. So I'm using very little water because this is quite thin paper. Let's go a bit bigger. Michelle's still trying to figure out the chat.
I figured it out, but it's very small on the phone.
Okay. You can just read some comments to me.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Especially if there are questions.
Oh, yes.
Are there questions? Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Wow, it's really bright. I can like barely see the paper. Okay, next is my orange. This is Akepa. And I am using a filbert brush today, but again, just feel free to use any brush. Today is really a very relaxed, easy, I feel like I say this every time, don't I? Like in all of my videos and live streams, like, oh, just easy, relaxed. Maybe one of these days I should do a really serious video with lots of details, like a 3-hour session. Nah, I don't know, that wouldn't be me. I just really love.
Okay.
Yes?
We have LMD saying, love
Linda?
to restay. Oh, Linda.
Yeah.
Love to restay. So comfortable. But then break it
Restay.
up with a new place sometimes.
I love restay. I'm gonna call this restay. This is my favorite restay here in Hilo.
Alina says, if I like the place, definitely the same place.
Right? Yeah, I agree.
Oh no, Debbie. I go home. I'm boring. You're not boring, Debbie.
Well, honestly, if you have a lovely home that you like to go back to, isn't that the best in the world?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I agree.
this is what we all strive for. So, Debbie, you're not boring. You just have the extreme luck to have a beautiful home. So, I'd say that's the best. Which I agree, I have that too. But you know, guys, the reason why I leave physically sometimes is because when I'm home, I just keep on working. I just can't not work. It's a problem with me. That's why I like to get away. Okay, so which color? How about, I could do some red. Why not? If I do some red, then we even stay with the analogous colors within the swatches.
Oh, your mom is on.
Hi, Mom.
Aloha, Keiko-chan.
Yay.
I'm not here. You're not late, Kako-chan.
Oh, no, she's not late. Du bist nicht zu spät, Mama. Alles gut. Alles gut. Wir sind alle da. So, all right. So this was EEV, my lovely Mayan red. And if you're using Neocolor II, you don't actually have to wait for the watercolor to dry. You can just go straight in. If you're using another type of medium, like colored pencils, for example, I would wait till everything is dry. Okay, so let's start with something really simple. Okay, so I said analogous colors, which means we're only gonna use the reds, oranges, and pinks today. Let's start with some orange over that yellow. Let me see, zoom in a little bit. Okay, here we go. So these Neocolor II are water soluble. The same company, Caran, they also produce non-water soluble color wax pastels or crayons, the Neocolor I, and honestly they are just as good. I love the regular ones as well. The advantage with these ones here is that they're even softer. So especially working on thin paper or on top of still moist or wet watercolor gives you a huge advantage because you're not going to rip the paper. Everything's going to just blend smoothly. Okay, let's start with a circle and then just draw in a line like this. And then we're just going to simply fill out the background. And now the beauty about these crayons is if you like, you can actually go over everything with a wet brush and blend it if you like. But I'm just looking for a bit of texture here. And I'm not gonna blend it. So I almost feel like it was a bit, too big of a promise that I'm gonna do negative space technique today because this is just so simple. But this is the basic premise of negative space painting technique is that you don't paint the actual object, you paint everything around it. So in this case, we're not painting the moon, but we're painting the background and this way defining the shape of the moon. And then you can take it to really extreme levels. You can do different layers of negative space painting technique where you just add more and more layers. Okay, I just had this idea to add another color here on top. Let's see what that does. Just blend it a little bit. Kind of doesn't even look like a nightscape. I mean, this could be a sunny day out on the prairie, especially with those beautiful colors. So, how about we add something down here? Okay, and I think the best way to turn this into a night scene is to just add some stars. It almost feels like cheating. Okay, so I prepped a little bit of gouache. This is just regular white gouache. I have my little tiny 0 round brush. If you don't have gouache at hand, you can just use an opaque white jelly roll pen, or some colored pencils are actually also very opaque. You can try, but I think gouache works best. Or the P.H. Martin's, Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white ink is really good and opaque. Acrylic ink. And just dot, dot, dot a few stars on here. When you add stars, try to distribute them in an uneven way. So I'm you know, not like a even pattern, just a few clusters closer together, further apart. You can even do something like spray a few little ones here. All right, and this is pretty much the principle of the whole exercise today. So whatever medium you're using today, whether it's brush pens for the swatch in the background or watercolors, you can just go ahead and create different scenes in the same way. So I'm gonna do a tree next. Let's see, let's use some pink here. Can I grab your phone and look at the chat again?
Oh, yes.
Whee! Okay. If there is a chat, let's see.
There's chat.
There's chat. Yeah, my mom's talking to Sylvie. Cute. Ah. Okay, it's still really hot over in Germany, huh? Wow, 33 Celsius? That's like 90 Fahrenheit?
A little over 90.
Yeah, over 90 even? Oh my gosh. That's like 5 degrees hotter than here, I think. Yeah, Germany is really getting the summer on. Okay, so, and for the next one, the tree. Okay, you can just start with a line on the left side and then move it over like this. We do the same thing over on the other side. It's almost like creating a little chalice outline. And then very rudimentary branches like this. It's super shaky. Oh my goodness. The whole table, like whatever I do, is like the whole table is shaking.
That's why I started painting on my lap.
Yes. It's interesting though, it doesn't really, the shaky doesn't translate too much onto the YouTube, so that's good. Okay, so once you have your outline, you can start filling in the background again, just like we did on the left-hand side. Okay, Melly has to leave. Cheers! Okay, and once you have your outline, just fill in the background again. So this color here is called, what is it? Purple? I really have to say it reminds me more of a dark fuchsia almost.
Magenta.
Yeah, but it's really more like a bluish magenta. And I love how it works with the orange. Okay, fill out the background. I have to say I kind of like that ombre effect I did on the other one, so I'm gonna try and do this gradient here again with another color. Okay, so who of you is painting along today? I know you're painting along over there. Yes. Tracy's painting along too. Tracy, are you using the Neocolors or something else? Oh, hey, everyone is painting along.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sylvie, Debbie, yeah. Tracy's using the Neocolors. Kerstin too, very good. And yes, Steph, I agree. I mean, it's like beautiful bluish magenta, not purple. But hey, that's what the Swiss wanted. They wanted to call it purple, so they should have it. And let's see. Ooh, how about we add some, what I would really call purple, what they call violet. Well, well. Okay, I'm adding this for the leaves. I'm actually trying to hold on to the table so it doesn't shake so much. Alina says, not me. Okay, well, I know it's like 9 p.m. over in Romania, right? So 9:30, yeah. Linda says, love the Swiss. Yeah, I love the Swiss too. I lived in Switzerland for 13 years. I'm not sure if all of you know that, but I spent quite a big chunk of my life there. And let me tell you, coming from Germany, going to Switzerland, you know, at first I thought, oh yeah, it's gonna be easy, you know, it's the same, but oh boy, was I wrong. Holy moly. It was very different. Taught me a lot. Well, this looks weird. Okay, let's see. So I'm not really fond of this, but it's fine. It's just a color study.
It's psychedelic broccoli.
Guys, did you hear that? Michelle calls this my psychedelic broccoli. Okay, so for the broccoli, let's add some grass. Maybe we can turn this into a tree. But I'm also pretty fine with psychedelic broccoli. Do you think this comes from watching all the 80s music clips yesterday?
Absolutely.
Holy moly, you guys. I mean, if you have never watched music clips from the 80s, this would be the time to do it because it's absolutely hilarious. So, you know, back then, no big special effects, no CGI. They actually cut the films, you know, by hand, the celluloid. It's just insane. The hair, the what is it? Shoulder, how do you call it?
Shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads. The makeup, the whole weirdness of everything. I mean, we just cracked up. It was so hilarious. Okay, you can see I'm adding some pink here, which they call salmon pink. I'm not gonna comment on the color names anymore. Okay, and Sylvie says she always removed the shoulder pads. Yes, but you know what's funny? My mom actually, she still likes shoulder pads, so my mom is definitely stuck in the 80s. She actually has this method with safety pins and everything where she can just move shoulder pads from one garment to the other. It's so funny. And then, you know, she wants to give me one of her clothes and I'm like, okay, but take out the shoulder pads first. I don't like shoulder pads.
I remember I had pieces of clothing that you could Velcro them on.
Yes, yes. That is, I mean, that is like next level, right? Shoulder pads 2.0. Mm-hmm. Fabulous. Yeah, I just don't like them. It's not for me. I mean, I love the 80s. I, you know, was a kid in the 80s, so I have a very nostalgic feeling towards that era, but no shoulder pads. Okay, let's add a little bit like this down here. Sylvie says that her mom collected them. The shoulder, oh my gosh, the whole bag. Yes, just like my mom. What is it about that era? It's so funny. I should probably say this in German. I don't think my mom understood. Okay, Taki. She's still talking about the weather. Okay, Mama, wir haben gerade von deinen Schulterpolstern geredet. Weißt du noch? So wie aus den 80er Jahren. Und dass du überall in deinen Kleidern gern Schulterpolster hast. So wie genau wie damals in den 80er Jahren. Und die Michelle und ich haben gestern Musikvideos aus den 80ern geschaut, was extrem witzig war. Und deswegen kommen wir auf dieses Thema. Okay. So Steph says she really loves the colors of the top right. You know what? I like it too now. Hey, how'd you like my psychedelic broccoli now? I like it.
Cute.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Now it's a psychedelic tree with some broccoli features. Let's add some gouache. On another note, if you wanna just finish all your little paintings first and then add the gouache, feel free to do so. It might be, you know, it might be easier. It depends a little bit how you like to work. For some people, I think it's nice to stay in the flow of one medium, finish the whole page, and then go and add the finishing details.
I know I'm like that.
Yeah, so in that case, you want to do the gouache later. Just adding a few stars here. How are they talking about absinthe now? Where did you get there? Okay, Nadine says she really loves the music of the 80s and 90s. And Sylvia's like, why do I think of absinthe? I'm not sure. Die kleine grüne Fee. Sylvia, I think you might have had some absinthe tonight, have you not? This is great. Oh, I love it. I really adore our chat. It's, you know, it's always like this. It's just, it's so good. You guys are the best. It's so fun. Our little Klassentreffen. Okay, adding a few splatters. So with this tiny, tiny brush, of course my splatters are tiny, tiny as well. If you want a little bit bigger splatters, just use a little bit of a bigger brush. So let's move on. Oh, because of the broccoli. Oh my gosh. Alina says, I think she had a piece of that broccoli. Yes, the psychedelic broccoli. This is the point where I'm starting to laugh, where I can't paint anymore. Okay, let's move the camera a little bit. Tracy said it reminds her of fireflies. Yeah, I agree. Could be fireflies. So, okay, let's zoom out a little bit and let me rearrange things here on the table. Is that in frame, you guys? I think so, huh? Hopefully. Maybe a little more up. God, this table is tiny. Okay. All right. Oh, my mom. She's so cute. My mom says, yeah, I add the shoulder pads so that people don't see my curves so much. Aw, we love your curves, Mom. That's beautiful. Okay, so for the next one, we have a pink background. So how about some more purple and maybe blue even. So what do we have here? Night blue.
Oops.
And violet. Okay, how about, let's do the little volcano next. Okay, so for the volcano, we'll start with a simple curve like this. And then add some tiny little hills here. By the way, if your Neocolors are really very round and you don't have a tip, you can theoretically use an sharpener. You know, one of these double sharpeners that have both a smaller hole and a bigger one. Or you could even use a makeup sharpener. I always feel like I'm wasting my Neocolor though. So, I mean, I did do this here. You can see it that I used a sharpener, but I saved the shavings even because, you know, I want to reuse them. So you can keep your shavings in a little tin or something and then re-wet them with a brush so they work just like watercolor almost. But what I usually do is I try to use the pen or the crayon in a way where I create a natural tip again. But yeah, it doesn't always work out that way. Okay, and then down here, I'm gonna indicate a road. So start with this shape and then just continue, do a parallel line to that shape. And in here, we're gonna leave it white, and everything else we're just gonna fill out with our Neocolor. Again, this is a very, very, very basic rule of negative space painting technique. Pretty much leaving out the space that defines the object that you wanna paint. And of course, you know, you could also just paint in this road later with some gouache. However, I do like that this way the background shines through. Okay. So we have our little volcano down here. And then for the sky, let's do another moon. Because we have this one on this side, let's put it on this side. So a trick here, if you want to create not a full moon, but just a partial moon, is to start with a circle. And then at about 2/3, here and here, paint in another line like this. And then you can just go over everything here that you don't want to be visible later. And don't fill out the whole background. We just want to add some dark Neocolor at the top of the page. And then we're just going to blend it down with another color. Gern geschehen, Mama. Stimmt ja auch. Ist ja nur die Wahrheit. Okay, let's move over to my night blue. So far, I actually have not really blended the colors. I really like the effect though. You know, it's so weird. I keep hearing some kind of sound here that almost sounds like pan flutes.
Yeah, like reed
What?
flutes or something.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is that the wind in the roof? It's like.
I don't know. I asked you that last night, and you said, "Oh, I don't know. Let's put on 80s music."
Yeah, let's be louder than the reed flutes. I was wondering, maybe it's the fridge. I have no idea. It's the power of the psychedelic broccoli. Sylvie says it's absinthe, yeah. Which I actually can't stand. I really don't like it. I think the first time ever I had absinthe was actually in Spain, because at that time, I don't know what it was in Germany, but it was very difficult to obtain. I'm not even sure if it was legal at some point. So I went to Spain and I had absinthe, and I had this whole big glass, and they filled it with a little bit of water, and it looked nice, but it tastes like licorice. So I was just totally appalled. And I sat at the bar, and that's when you don't not want to drink the drink. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I gave it away. I could not finish it. It's so terrible. I don't like it.
Yeah, even one of my favorite cocktails is Sazerac. So what they do is they just...
Sazerac?
Sazerac. It's from New Orleans.
Oh.
But what they do is they just coat the glass with absinthe. You don't...
Yeah, that might be doable for me.
Because it's very strong otherwise.
Sazerac. You know, it sounds like something from Dune. The Kwisatz Sazerac.
I can make you one.
But you might have to drink it. I mean, I'm just saying, there's a possibility that even if it's just coated with this stuff, I might not like it.
Sure.
Okay, I'm adding a little bit of our, what the Swiss call purple. Are there any Swiss around? I mean this in a very loving way. Okay, so Nadine says that she thinks it was illegal for a while because of the stuff that's inside, and that's what I remember in the 90s. So you could actually not purchase absinthe in Germany. I wonder what was in there. Is it because if you drink like 10 liters, you go blind or something?
I don't remember. It couldn't have been just the wormwood.
Wormwood?
That's what it's made from.
What is that?
Well, it's a root, I think. Could be.
Ah, so that's why it's similar to licorice, right? Because that's also a root. Wormwood. I have to say, you're not making it sound any better. You know?
It doesn't taste good, no.
Yeah, just makes you blind. So.
The cocktail's fabulous. It's all whiskey.
Well, I love whiskey, so yeah. Okay. I'll give it a try. Is there an absinthe cocktail with tea? I think it would like that.
We can make you one.
Yeah, let's come up with something like that. All right. Ooh, I'm really liking the ombre gradient effect. Okay, I just want to show you guys something real quick. If you want to have it even be a little bit smoother, you can dip your brush in water and then just gently drag your brush over your water-soluble crayons. And I would recommend that you rinse your brush after every stroke. Okay, so I'm not necessarily going for this look, but I just wanted to show it to you in case you wanted to try it out. And I think it would make sense, you know, if you choose to do this for all of your swatches on your page. And then for the bottom here, rinse your brush and then dry it on a towel. Dry it off a little bit. And just gently go over this edge here. And then you can drag it further down so it touches, almost touches your little mountain down here. Yeah, I do like that look too. Yeah, I think it's nice because it's smoother up here and you have more texture in the mountain down there. Okay, so Linda's talking about Long Island iced tea. Oh my gosh, I had this once. I wasn't able to get up out of my chair anymore. I mean, I'm really sensitive to alcohol. I can't drink much, so I had one of these and it was so tasty. It was such a good, I had it in Maui and oh my gosh, it was so good. And I didn't realize it had so much alcohol because it tasted like a really good iced tea, honestly, you know?
Yep.
So I drank this thing in, I don't know, way too short of a time. Oh my gosh, I was so out of it. So I have to be careful with the Long Island tea, but I do love the flavor. Tracy said, thank goodness, because somehow there was a drop of water and mine blended before you blended it. See? That works. What you can also do if you want to do blending from the start is you can wet your Neocolor and go in and, you know, you have a smooth Neocolor right away. Let me show you. So I'm just gonna dip. So I just dipped the tip of my crayon in water and see how it's already looking almost like watercolor. Alternatively, you can also just wet the paper. So you can just lay down some water on your background like this and then go over it with your Neocolor. These crayons are so versatile. And you know there are other brands that create or make water-soluble crayons as well. It's really not necessary to get the Caran, because I know they're quite the investment. Yeah, I love Jägermeister. Mm-hmm. Isn't that German?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, well. You don't like it? I really like it. It has to be really cold.
That's true. I'll drink it if it's cold.
Very cold. I think I'm amusing Luna because I can't handle Long Island iced tea. Oh my God, I've amused a lot of people getting so drunk so fast. Alina says, Jägermeister and her did not end well ever. And then she tried again. This is me with beer. I didn't like it for like 15 years and then I moved to Hawaii and now I like it. Because you know, here the beer is kind of light and fruity and they add stuff to it. Have you guys ever heard of that law in Germany where you can't use any additives to your beer? It can only be like 3 ingredients, I think, plus water. Is that right? Hop, malt, and water?
Barley?
And barley. Yeah, so 3 plus 1. Whereas in Hawaii, you can have coffee with beer inside the beer, or pineapple in the beer, passion fruit. Oh, it's so good.
There's a beer in Austin that I love.
In Austin, Texas?
Yes, in Texas.
You know, we're in Hawaii right now. I'm
I
just
know.
saying.
I'm just saying, the lack of love doesn't just apply to Hawaii.
I'm just totally kidding. Honestly, I think it doesn't apply anywhere but in specifically Bavaria and in Germany in general.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, you can have rice in your beer in China or in Japan, which is fantastic. I love that so much. But yeah, same story there. Took me a very long time. I can't believe that we're talking about alcohol so much in this. There might be people who don't even drink alcohol. I apologize, you guys. It's all because of that psychedelic broccoli. It started it.
It's my fault. I'm sorry.
Nah, actually, I think Sylvie started it with the absinthe. We can just throw the blame around today. So Alina says she never drinks beer, but it's funny because they have a brewery. The local brewery where she lives is called Alina? No way. You have an Alina brewery? And you don't drink beer and you're not related to these guys? I want to try Alina beer. Sounds cute. Oh, interesting. So Dorit says that she lived close to the Jägermeister factory, and whenever they produced a new batch, you would actually be able to smell it in the air around the factory. That might have smelled pleasant, though. I mean, they have a lot of herbs in this drink, don't they? Michelle's not convinced. She's like, yeah, I don't know about that. Steph says she doesn't drink, but she likes the conversation. I'm glad. This is really going places today.
Well, it's not being fermented, so it could actually smell good. You never know.
Oh, that's right, because beer
It's
production is kind of...
Ooh.
or sake in Japan. The rice wine, that smells not so great. Well, but it depends, you know. I think some people maybe like that smell. Alrighty, so let's add some gouache. I forgot to add the gouache over here. And because this is still a little moist, it might actually have a totally different effect. Let's see. Actually, it's pretty dry. So usually when you add gouache to a background that's still a bit moist, you might have some interesting spreading and blending effects, which can be very conducive to painting stars because it almost looks like you're creating a halo. And then once that is dry, you can add a very intense drop of white. You can also fake it by going in with a really wet brush and just a little bit of gouache and kind of like painting your halo, big circles, and then rinsing your brush again, drying it on your towel and just blending out the edges a little bit. And then once this is dry, you can add another drop of white in the center. Ooh, and let's do something else fun. Let's add a little Sternschnuppe, shooting star. So for the shooting star, you want to start right by the star and then whip your brush out. Maybe a bit more water, tiny bit more water. Let's try this again. And whip. That was a bit too much. Let's try another smaller one over here. Okay. Yeah, maybe too much water. You have to kind of find the right ratio for doing that. And it might actually work better with a jelly roll pen, possibly. Okay, let's see if this is dry yet. So I'm adding little dots here in the center of those halos I created earlier. They're still talking about alcohol in the chat. They moved on to plum wine, plum wine. Should what is it called? Not even sure. Plum wine. I can't remember. All right, let's move on to our last one here. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a little meadow with a fence. So, okay, for the fence, just start with a straight line, go up and over and down a little bit, like this, and then just add a parallel line. 1, 2, 3. And then you want to go down, another parallel line, one more time at the bottom, and finish it like this. Then we can add some grass in the background. It's shaking so bad. So just let the grass peek over your fence here, and then fill out the spaces here in the background of the fence. And again, we're not painting the fence, we're defining the background and hence defining the shape of the fence. Ooh, and mom is now talking about Oktoberfest. Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, isn't that coming up soon in Munich? Yeah. You know, it's always funny. I always made fun of Oktoberfest because it's mostly in September. So they start in September and then they have the you know, obligatory like 2 or 3 days in October. So they can call it Oktoberfest. Do you know how we call this in Bavarian, Michelle? Wiesen.
Wiesen?
Wiesen. Yeah, like meadow.
Ah.
Okay, so I blended the two purples together here on top of each other. It's really thick. Okay. Yeah, Sylvie, you know what it is? I mean, I was born and raised in Munich, so I kind of like had to go there. But honestly, I am not very fond of it. It's just a huge amount of people. Usually they're all drunk. So if you ever go there, I would recommend going during the week and in the afternoon, and going to what they call the Old Oktoberfest. So this is something they do every other year, and they build up a whole area with the very old carousels and roller coasters. I mean, literally we're talking 100 years old at this point. They have horses and carriages. So that's a really, really fun part of the Oktoberfest. The one that, you know, I would recommend visiting. But the whole thing is just, it's humongous. I mean, they have literally millions of people coming in from all over the globe in a time frame of, I think, 2 weeks. Yeah, it's pretty much insanity if you ask me. Oh, Alina says they have Oktoberfest in Romania as well. No way, that's so cool. And it already started, it wasn't even September yet. Let's have Oktoberfest in August. Well, you know, it makes sense because it's still summer. The problem with October is, I think in Europe in some places, is that it might, you know, be terrible weather and really cold. Not always, I'm not saying that, but you know, there's a chance it can be really rainy and stuff. So doing it in August makes sense. Nina says here in Spain as well, but in October. Yeah, I guess in Spain the sun is out longer, isn't it? Okay, let's add some stars to our little last swatch here. I'm gonna start with some sprinkles. Gosh, these really are tiny. Can I borrow a slightly larger brush from you? That's too big. Yeah, that looks good. Size 6. Okay, I have a size 6 round brush. I picked up some of my gouache, quite a bit of water actually, and then let's see. There you go. That's a good splatter. And then I'm adding a few by hand. If you don't want your splatter to reach the other part of your painting, you can just cover it with a piece of paper, for example. And I should have probably said that earlier. Okay, let's try adding another shooting star like this. Okay. Yeah. And some twinkles. You know what? Even though I don't really love these brushes, the silver, I mean, they're super high quality. It's just not really my favorite because they're so soft. I have to say though, if you want to do really fine details, they are great. I mean, the tip is phenomenal. For a size 6 round brush to be able to do hairlines like that, that's pretty cool. I mean, just look at the fine, that's crazy. It's such a good tip. Okay, I'm gonna get a bit closer. So this would be a good excuse to buy one of these silver black velvets, just to be able to paint really fine star lines. Okay, and lastly, if you like, you can fill out your moon shapes with gouache, just so that they stand out more. Plus, if your shape is maybe not to your liking, in this example here, it's more of an elliptic shape. So if you want your moon to be really round, you can add it with gouache. And you'll have a nice halo around it, with the background shining through, I mean. I think that was my stomach. Did you hear it? It's grumbling.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Kind of like that contrast. Let's add a little bit of white here as well. And up here. Okay, here we go. So, September. First. Okay. Let's do. Okay, you guys, here we go. This is our first exercise for week 1. Let me turn the camera around one more time. Okay, oops. Michelle, you're gonna be in frame for a second.
Hi.
Yeah, that was like half of Michelle. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this session. I'm gonna keep you updated about next live sessions. I don't have anything planned right now, but I'm sure there will be one again soon. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, that would be a perfect way for you to stay updated. I'm gonna leave a link down below in the comments, or in the caption actually. Comments are for you guys, so I would really appreciate if you enjoyed the session to leave a little comment down below, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. I wish you a wonderful weekend and happy creating. Aloha.